guys, Helen Hart Smith again here from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. The roomie is in the background. I have to say that she was like over there doing some singing nonsense just as I was starting. So I'm not sure if you caught that or not. I hope everybody's having a good day. I am. It's really hot in Michigan, but I'm hoping that this is supposed to be the last day of this. We've had 90-degree heat, you guys. This is ridiculous. Anyhow, so I'm hoping that that's all done. Anyhow, I'm coming at you today with a series book review. Not just one book, not just two books, but 3 books. It is a trilogy book review for you. So, the book series that I wanted to talk about is the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. Now, unfortunately, and this is going to sound weird at first, so just, bear with me here. I only have 2 of the 3 books. I'll let that sink in. Yep, the question becomes, Helen, how are you going to review a trilogy if you don't have all the books? Well, let me tell you, I love books and I love to read. Unfortunately, I just don't get time all the time to read. So I listen to a lot of books on audio. So I actually listened to these on audio, but I love the world that Cassandra Clare has created, not only with this trilogy, but with other books that she's written. So yes, let's get into it. So this is technically not the first series that Cassandra Clare wrote and put in this. Some people might consider her world the Shadowhunters world. Some might even consider it like the Mortal Instruments verse, because the Mortal Instruments, the first 3 books of that 6-part series, she wrote first. So she wrote City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass. And I think that's the correct order for them. She wrote those first, then she came back and did this series of the Infernal Devices. So in this series, we have the first book is Clockwork Angel. The second book is Clockwork Prince. And the third book is Clockwork Princess. Now, you're probably familiar with the Mortal Instruments because there's been a major motion picture made with Lily Collins and, what was the young man's name that's easy on the eyes? Jamie Campbell Bower, yes. They starred with Jonathan Rhys-Meyers and some other folks in the movie version of the Mortal Instruments. And there's also a television show on Freeform that has completed its 2nd season, I believe. And so that's kind of like the start, and that's the modern day of this world. Now, this particular trilogy takes place in the early 1900s, I believe, and in England. So, does it give me a year? I should have looked. I think that's right. It's like the Victorian era is when this book series takes place. And these are all kind of the ancestors of some of the folks that you meet in the Mortal Instruments series. So the first book kind of starts off with Tessa Gray finding herself in a little bit of trouble, and she meets this pair of Shadowhunters named Will Herondale and James Carstairs. And so they kind of rescue her and take her in, and the trilogy is about their adventures in what happens to them. I really liked this series because, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Cassandra Clare's work in general. So the work that she started in the Mortal Instruments series and then came back to this Victorian England, it just really spoke to me. Now, the second thing that I really dug about this is that there's definitely a steampunk element. It's not, I've seen books that have a bigger steampunk element, but there's definitely some stuff here that, you know, that will satisfy the punkers out there. So I did like that aspect. And as far as the story goes, I don't want to give it away too much. But these three young people, Tessa, Will, and James, Jem, as he's known, they deal with some wizards, well, they're actually called mages in this world. And there's some vampires in here, there's some werewolves in here, and some demons. And actually, Will and Jem, they are shadow hunters, so they're actually they're Nephilim. So they're part human, part angel. And so they go off on an adventure to figure out what's happening in England at this time without giving away too many details. And you know, kind of do their thing. And so of course there's a little love triangle going on there between the three young people, Will, Jem, and Tessa. And I have to say that I appreciate how the story kind of ended and resolved. I like Tessa as a character. She actually ends up, you learn that she is a mage to an extent, but she's only got like one kind of power kind of thing. But it's a pretty interesting power, something that I haven't really seen before. I like how the love triangle kind of got played out. I think Tessa is a really strong individual that kind of came into her own as the story, you know, worked its way through the 3 books. And then of course Will and Jem, they're best friends, and they're both flawed in their own ways. And actually Tessa is flawed in her own ways too. And it's kind of nice how they come together, how their relationships build and what happens with them. It's kind of a nice overall story between the 3 main characters of the series. And I really appreciate all the peripheral characters too that you come to know and actually kind of love as you make your way through the books. I think that they are totally actually Cassandra Clare's entire world at this point in time I'm pretty grooving on. There's a couple of characters that are whiny to me and I don't dig necessarily. Clary, excuse me. I find that Tessa is a much stronger character than Clary is in the original stories, and maybe I don't think it's an age difference because I believe Clary starts off at like 15 in the Mortal Instruments and Tessa is right around 17. So yeah, there's a 2-year difference. But I don't know. I just think Tessa is much more mature for her age. And so you don't get that angsty teen stuff that Clary gives you. So I think that if you're a fan of the Mortal Instruments series, or if you tried it and you didn't like it, I think you should give this series a shot because it's set in the same world, but it's just different enough that it might like help you to either like everything more, or you might just end up liking these. And these 3 books kind of stand on their own too. So that's kind of a nice thing too. So yeah, I enjoyed them. I actually re-listened to them recently. So that's kind of nice to kind of get back to this because I'd had a gap. There's actually some stories in the overall world that I haven't gotten to yet. So I wanted to re-listen to everything as kind of a prep factor so that I knew who everybody was. So as far as, let's give it a rating, okay? Let's get both of them up here. Let's get a rating. I'm rating this as a series, and I think it's strong, and I think it stands by itself. So I think I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5 out of 4 brooms, because there's a lot of good stuff here. There's a little bit of love for, the people that like love. There's definitely some action and some fighting that happens in the story. There's a lot of relationships that happen. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of that kind of societal stuff that happens in this story. So I think there's something in here to appeal. They're definitely geared towards a young adult audience, but I think that adults can read these and get something nice out of it too. So there's my review of the series. Again, that's Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. And that is the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. I will put a link or links in the description box that will take you to Amazon if you wanted to purchase these. I will also put a link to a wiki page that I found really helpful in, if you forgot who was who or wanted to figure out who was who. There's a lot of family trees and stuff like that takes place in this series. So definitely that wiki page was helpful in, okay, who was this person, and all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of original artwork there and everything else. And if you're interested in tarot cards, there's a tarot deck. It's on my Christmas list, kids. Eee! So anyhow, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked the video or found it interesting or like content like this is the first book review that I've done for a fiction book. Every other book review has been, a Wicca based, but I felt that anybody who was, into witchcraft or paganism or whatever, they would like a book series like this. So that's why I said I'm going to take a chance. So if you liked this, let me know. Do you want me to do some additional book reviews for fiction books, or do you want me to just stick with the witchcraft stuff? And I probably wouldn't do a review for every kind of book. I could limit it to just something that had a craft content or whatever. So let me know about that. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Working on new content and stuff, guys, so hang out. Leave a comment below, or you can email at heartofthewitchespath@yahoo.com, and please check out the Instagram account. Thanks for walking the path for a little while with me, and until next time, blessed be.